Good morning, everybody. Today is November 12th, and it's a very cold morning. Susan and I, where's Susan?
Good morning.
There she is. Susan and I are on a bike ride this morning, and we're testing out a couple things, primarily our winter gear. We went out for a short ride yesterday and had a little disappointment because Susan's hands got cold with her new pair of gloves, so we switched that out. And also today we're wearing toe warmers. Good tip for you people out there who don't want your feet to get cold. These things are great. They make all the difference. And if you don't think it's cold this morning, just possibly you can make it out on the lake back there, the pond back there. That's ice on the water. It's pretty cold. It's pretty cold. Anyway, this morning I think I'm going to be talking about a tip on how you can get your average speed or your speed up faster by doing almost nothing in terms of training and physical improvement. Stay tuned for that. Click and subscribe at the end so you can get the latest notifications about videos coming out. And thanks again for watching. This is the Road Biker. So in my introduction this morning I mentioned that I have a tip for you guys and gals.
Big difference between a headwind and a tailwind.
I know. You may not have been able to hear Susan, but she says there's a big difference between a headwind and a tailwind. And right now we got just a slight headwind. But getting back to the topic of being able to go faster on your bike with virtually no need for any additional training or additional gear on your bike, you'd be surprised how easy it is to pick up speed. During the course of this short video, I'm going to show you some interesting metrics provided by an application called Bike Computer that may really surprise you. And when I reviewed the information myself, I thought that's a pretty good tip to pass along to other people who are interested in increasing their speed on their bike. So let's lay some baselines down. First thing, what is the Bike Computer app? Well, it's an app that's been around since about 1997. It allows you to input certain parameters, and based on those parameters, it'll provide you with different calculations for how fast you will be able to travel and how long a time it'll take you to go a certain distance and what sort of watts that you are working at. I think there's also calorie calculations on there as well. And it's a very interesting app, and I'm sure it was around before there were a lot of things like GPS, bike computers, and of course Strava or Garmin Connect and Map My Ride to evaluate your metrics for you. But the interesting and surprising thing that I noticed about the app is that it takes into consideration what grade you're riding on, your headwind, and also your riding position. And that's the key to my tip here this morning. I have 4 different screenshots to share with you guys in which I indicated a ride over a 10-mile distance with no headwind, no grade, and putting in a 170 watt effort on the ride. The remarkable thing, and you can see this in the metrics on this bike calculator screenshots, is that simply by changing where your hands are on the handlebars and lowering your riding position to get yourself more aero, you can essentially, at 175 watts, pick up 4 miles an hour. So as an example, the first screenshot shows you the bike computer set up with the metrics that I just explained, but with your hand position on the tops of the bars. If you're riding in that position, obviously you're sitting almost upright, or you are sitting upright, and that is your least aero position on the bike. This next screenshot shows what happens if you move your hand position to the top of the hoods, lowering your body position somewhat. You become a little bit more aero, and you pick up, I believe, about 1 mile per hour. I'm not looking at the screenshots right now myself, so I can't quite tell you how fast the numbers are. Now the next riding position in this screenshot shows what would happen if you lowered your riding position and grabbed the drops on your handlebars. You pick up almost another 1 mile per hour again. That's remarkable. So the difference between riding on the tops of your handlebars and putting your hands on the drops, you'll pick up a good 2, maybe 3 miles per hour speed with 175 watt effort. And the last screenshot here shows you that if you have a set of aero bars, I think they're sometimes called time trial bars as well, once again, you will pick up another 1 mile per hour faster. So my tip for today is, if you want to get faster riding your bike without having to train a lot harder, simply change your riding position. Now naturally that is going to impact how you feel on the bike, and it does take a certain amount of practice to become more comfortable and efficient in those riding positions. But if you're interested in going faster on your bike, considering learning how to ride in the drops, and certainly always ride on the hoods, and if you're willing to go out and spend money on a pair of aero bars, you're going to get more bang for your wattage buck and be able to go, I believe, nearly 4 miles an hour faster than if you were sitting upright. It was maybe about 2 years ago, I took a bike ride out to Old Saybrook and back. That's probably about a 45-mile round trip for me. But there was one section of the road going through Old Saybrook where the wind was just right in my face. And I kind of remembered a video from GCN or someplace about getting aero and being able to deal with headwinds a little bit better on that basis. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is, I know I had kept my eye on my miles per hour, my speed at the time, and I was doing about 15 miles an hour into that headwind. But I dropped all the way down to my drops, and I pretty much, I know I kept the same cadence, and I know I was working just about as hard as I was sitting up, but I noticed my miles per hour jumped up about 1.5 miles per hour faster just by getting in the drops. So that bike computer and its calculations and its metrics, they work, they're accurate, they're correct, they are meaningful, it's not made up crap. So that's my short tip for you guys this morning. Consider changing where you hold on to your handlebars while riding to increase your speed while riding.